NITI Aayog is a harbinger of cooperative and competitive federalism and is a very important topic. So first of all, we'll go through that what is cooperative and competitive federalism. Then we'll come to this point. So NITI Aayog, functions of NITI Aayog are foster cooperative federalism, monitoring and evaluation, act as a resource center and knowledge hub, then design policy and program framework. So, what is cooperative federalism? In cooperative federalism, the center and states share a horizontal relationship where they cooperate in the larger public interest. So, remember, in case of cooperative federalism, what type of relationship exists between center and states? That is horizontal. Okay. Don't confuse it with vertical. So it is an important tool to enable states' participation in the formulation and implementation of national policies. So states should participate from their side to implement the national policies. Then union and states are constitutionally obliged to cooperate with each other on the matters specified in our 7th schedule of the Constitution. In cooperative federalism, we have seen that there is a strong relationship between center and state, and that relationship is a horizontal one, and they work towards implementation of national policies and the matters those are mentioned in the Schedule 7 of the Constitution. Now, in competitive federalism, the relationship between center, or you can say central and state government, is vertical. Remember, in competitive federalism, the relationship between the center and state government is vertical, and between the state government is horizontal. This idea of competitive federalism gained significance in India post 1990s economic reforms. We know the economic reforms comes, right? So after 1991, we have LPG policy, right? Liberation, privatization, and globalization policy. So economic reforms comes, and there comes the competitive federalism with that reform. Now, in a free market economy, the endowments of states, available resource base, and their comparative advantages all foster a spirit of competition, because every state has some kind of endowment of resources, and that those states with those specialized resources will take advantages out of that. And because of that advantages, specific advantages, that will foster a kind of spirit of competition among the states. Increasing globalization, however, increase the existing inequalities and imbalances between states. You can see that, right? In current time, some of the states of India, like, Kerala and South Indian state, basically, they are very, very advanced. While you can cite the examples of some states like Bihar, Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, they are comparatively means poor or lagging behind in case of development. So that is one kind of disadvantage you can see. Now, in competitive federalism, states need to compete among themselves and also with the center for the benefits. States compete with each other to attract the funds and investment, which facilitates efficiency in administration and enhances the development activities. You know, the state share also been increased. How much percentage can you cite through comment? Is it 32% to 42% or something else? How much now center states, that the share for those schemes, states should be funded by the center, right? So how much percentage it has been increased? If you can answer this question, comment that. This is very important, right? You should not forget about it. Then the investor, yes, states are competing each other because if they compete, if they perform better, then they can attract more fund and investment towards them, right? Okay. Now, states compete with each other to attract funds and investment. You got it? The investors prefer more developed states for investing their money. Union government develops funds to the states on the basis of uses of previously allocated funds. It is very important line that the investors prefer more developed states, because if a state is developed, then more investor will come, more business industries will be developed there. They will just come to develop the industries. So that's why the ASAPA a few days back I have come up with a lecture on ASPAPA. Armed for Special Powers Act, and there I told you that if this act being removed or being withdrawn, then what happens? The development increases, because in that way, people, so those who are investors, they got the confidence. Yes, now the situation is okay. We can come and invest on that stage. Right. Similarly, what here it is mentioned is that investors prefer the developed states to invest their money. Obviously, the profit matters. Then Union government develops funds to the states on the basis of the uses of the previously allocated funds. Mean how the previously allocated funds being utilized. Healthy competition strives to improve physical and social infrastructure within the states. Competitive federalism is not part of the basic structure of the Indian Constitution. Remember, this is not mentioned. If you say that the basic structure of the Indian Constitution, then competitive federalism is not mentioned. It is the decision of the executives, because you know, NITI Aayog is a kind of executive based. Now, if you see the Article 1, it says that India, that is Bharat, shall be a union of states. The Constitution does not mention the term federal, because it does provide for a governance structure primarily federal in nature, because it is a union of states. So that basically means what? Federal in nature. It provides for separate governments at the union and in the states. Further, it specifies and demarcates the power, you know, the second schedule, then functions and jurisdiction of the two governments. Lastly, it details the legislative, administrative, and financial relations between the union and the states. So it is clear from the constitutional provision, you can mention this point. Let's come to the main point. Now, I hope that the term competitive federalism, then the term cooperative federalism is now very, very clear to you. Let's come to the main point of discussion, that NITI Aayog works as this is also actually writing asks in the APSC main also, that NITI Aayog is a harbinger of cooperative and competitive federalism elucidate. Right. I think APSC this time it is being asked. It is sure. Okay. So now there's a high probability that this question may be asked in the interview also. Some candidates may got a question on this also. So let's come to this. Why NITI Aayog is known as a harbinger of this competitive and cooperative federalism? Because NITI Aayog endeavors to promote competitive federalism by facilitating improved performance of states and union territories. It encourages healthy competition among the states through different transparent rankings. Means now, if you are performing poor, your rank will be visible. So you learn from your rank that you have to improvise. And if you are performing good, then you will be more motivated towards performing more better, so that you can means raise your rank, right? So it encourages a healthy competition among the states through this transparent ranking in various sectors, along with a hand-holding approach. Yes, it will show you the guidelines, but remember, it is not going to give the money, or it is not going to invest, because it acts as a kind of guiding one, or you can say as a guide one, right? Not like the previously we have those 5-year plans or those planning commission. It is not like that. Okay. Now we are basically what? Bottom up. We are dealing with the bottom up approach, not the top down approach, or not the one size fits all approach. We have to develop the states, and overall, if you see from the bottom, if it is developed, then overall the whole state country will be developing. So that is the main motive behind the NITI Aayog, and it is doing that through this competitive federalism. It is coming up with some transparent ranking, making the states to involve in a kind of healthy competition, but with a hand-holding approach. Some of the indices launched by NITI Aayog are School Education Quality Index, State Health Index, that's a very important one, then Composite Water Management Index, right? Composite Water Management Index, Sustainable Development Goals Index, very, very important. Then India Innovation Index and Export Competitiveness Index. NITI Aayog also releases, see, each of this index is a very, very important to showcase your performance, to showcase as a state your performance and compare with the other developed states. Now, NITI Aayog also releases data rankings for the performance of aspirational districts every month. Aspirational district, those districts are which are comparatively lagging behind. So we have to make those states to work for better or better developments or better coming up with those facilities that are needed for everyday to day life, right? The ranking of states in various social sectors based on quantitative objective criteria encourages them and even districts to improve their performance. NITI Aayog works closely with all the stakeholders, including the state, union territory governments, and concerned ministries and departments in developing indicator frameworks, review mechanisms, and capacity building. So you see, it is one way increasing the competition. Healthy competition, you have to mention healthy competition, and also cooperation among the states also, because if you cite the example of aspirational districts, there is a kind of cooperation also, because every month you can see your ranking, delta ranking, and if you compare with the other improved district, okay, then you will also try to have a cooperation with those districts, that how those health or those education, these parameters being improving in that district. So then that districts, okay, obviously I'm talking about the government machinery who is actually administering that district and who is actually doing behind those works, because of which its rank is increasing. So a kind of cooperative cooperation exists, and that develops district will guide that aspirational district to that, yes, you have to bring these things to fully implement those schemes that will actually make that aspirational district performing better, right? Improving its index, improving its what I can say, that performance in the health sector or education sector or different other sectors, right? So a kind of cooperation also developing. So both are developing side by side, or you can say together, competitive federalism and cooperative federalism. That's why we are mentioning here that, or the question is mentioning here that NITI Aayog is actually a harbinger of competitive and cooperative federalism. Right? NITI Aayog is a harbinger of cooperative and competitive federalism. You can say like that also. I hope now it is very much clear to all of you. If still exists any doubt, obviously, I'll mention that you ask me, and see if you, whatever question I'm asking, try to answer it. In that way, it will help you to memorize those values also, the data also. Okay? So that's all for today. Thank you. Bye-bye.